So I got these two diminished scales for you today. Say you're jamming and you're playing your solo in the pentatonic or whatever, or minor. We're going to do this in the key of A. These two scales that I'm going to show you are just great to enhance your leads, whether you're playing some blues, back to the blues scale. So the first one, we're in the key of A, so you're going to start on A, and you're just going to use your first and your fourth fingers. So you play the 5th and the 8th frets, 5th and the 8th on the 6th, then the 6th and the 9th, and then the 7th and the 10th, and then the 8th and the 11th. So I'm going to stop right there on the 6th, 5th, and 4th and 3rd strings. You can see this pattern. So you're only playing, a step and a half, which is 3 frets, with your first finger on the 5th fret, your 4th finger on the 8th fret. Then you're just going up a half step for each string. 5, 8, 6, 9, 7, 10, 8, 11. So I went up like. But now when we get to the 2nd string, we have to go up, not to the 9th fret, because we went 5th, 6th, 7th, 8. We have to go to the 10th fret. And that's because of, the half-step relationship between, the 3rd and 2nd string, when you're tuning and, so. Now, 10, 13th frets with your 1st and 4th fingers. Some players like to use their 1st and 3rd. So I like to use my 1st and 4th. If you want to use your 1st and 3rd, that's okay. But 2nd string around the 10th and 13th frets, and finally 11th and 14th frets. So when you start in A, what's really fascinating about this is that because of octaves, by the time that you get to the 4th string, you're playing the same thing. And by the time that you get to the 3rd string, you're playing the same thing as you did on the 5th string. But because they're higher, most listeners are going to think that you're doing something different. And when you start in A, you're going to end on the F sharp. So, the difference between major and minor. So if I have an A major chord and I want to find its relative minor, F sharp minor. So you're gonna stop on that F sharp. And these are just notes. No, they're not chords, so it doesn't really follow that theory, but just to keep that in mind. So once again, 6th string, 5, 8, 5th string, 6, 9, 4th string, 7, 10, 3rd string, 8th and 11th. Now on the 2nd string, go from the 8th fret to the 10th fret, 10th and 13th frets, and then on the 1st string, 11th and 14th. You don't even have to use it all if you don't want. If you can just, use the 6th, 5th, and 4th and 3rd strings, or any combination of them. You don't have to use all 6 strings, but it's something different to enhance your lead playing. And the last thing I want to give you is, instead of using just your 1st and 4th fingers, now use your 1st, 3rd, and 4th, 1st, 3rd, and 4th, 1st, 3rd, and 4th, 1st, 3rd, and 4th. So it sounds cool. A little fuller. So I'm playing this the solo using a pentatonic in the key of A. Now I want to enhance it. So instead of playing just 1-4, you play 1-3-4. And you can start to see that, you know, if I say 1-3-4, starting on the 5th fret, you know that based on this little chromatic scale, the second finger would always go next to your first finger. Third finger is always a whole step from your first, and the fourth is right next to your third finger. So 6th string, 5th, 7th, and 8th frets. 6th string, 6th string is 5, 7, and 8. 5th is 6th, 8th, and 9th. Okay? 4th string is 7th, 9th, and 10th. And remember, the 6th string and the 4th string, they're the same notes. Just an octave higher. So on the 4th string, you play 7th, 9th, and 10th with your 1st, 3rd, and 4th fingers. On the 8th, 3rd string, 8th fret, then 10th and 11th. Now we're going to go to the 10th fret on the 2nd string and play 10, 12th, and 13th frets. Finally, on that 1st string, go to the 11th fret and play with your 1st finger, and then go to the 13th fret with your 3rd finger, and finally, 14th fret with your pinky. And that's what I have for you. So these two diminished scales. First one is 1-4, 1-4, 1-4, 1-4, etc. The next one is 1-3-4, 1-3-4, 1-3-4, 1-3-4. Remember, you're always playing a pattern, then going up a half step from that previous string. Half step, same pattern, half step. Till you get up until the 3rd string. Right? Then when you get to that 2nd string, you have to skip a fret. So you go, in this particular case, you go from the 8th to the 10th. If you started in B, you'd go from the 10th to the 12th frets. You see what I mean? That's that pattern. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Keep playing and have fun.